Interest rates hit a 20-year high this fall, peaking at 8%. Now that those rates are starting to creep back down into the sixes, many think that that's going to get buyers back into this market. But what about the current homeowners? Is 6.5% enough to get them to give up their 3 and 4% interest rates to open up more starter inventory for first-time buyers? Take yourself back a few years when the average interest rate was 3%. Monthly payments were lower and competition was stiff. There were ample opportunities both for buyers and sellers. But a good thing can't last forever, and in order to keep home prices from skyrocketing even further, interest rates had to go up to quell the buyer demand and cool the rising prices. In 2022, we saw 7% and panicked. In 2023, we saw 8% and couldn't believe our eyes. Compared to that, 6.5% sounds pretty doable, doesn't it? But it's all relative. If you were looking at buying a home at 8%, suddenly 6.5% sounds like a great deal. But if you own a home and your current rate is 3%, and in order to buy your next home, you have to give that up to take on 6.5%, that's a tough pill to swallow. Plus, it could literally mean an extra $550 per month on a house priced at $350,000. I think 2024 is going to continue to have inventory issues. We're still catching up from 2008 on new builds, and 6.5% interest may not be attractive enough for current owners at a lower rate to move up and trade for that 6.5%. Many homeowners will sell this year because they will have to sell. Death, divorce, job relocation, marriage, babies, retirement. All of those reasons will guarantee that there will always be houses on the market. But it is going to require more than that and a massive shift to satiate the current buyer demand. Either new builds would have to explode, or millions of current homeowners would have to sell their homes. Or a bit of both. And I believe that while new builds are coming, they're not going to come fast enough in the next couple of years. And the current interest rates just aren't going to be low enough for the average homeowner to uproot. So while interest rates heading back into the sixes is a really good thing, I do not think it's going to be enough to drive current homeowners to list their house for sale, which means inventory will remain tight, buyer demand will remain high, and prices are not going to plummet. So while interest rates heading back into the sixes is a good thing, I do not think it's going to be low enough to drive a massive amount of sellers to list their homes for sale, which in turn will keep inventory low. And it's going to make it challenging for buyers who want to jump in on today's rate. But for you buyers out there, or maybe sellers who are having to sell a current home to get into another one, now might be the time to jump. And speaking of jumping in, if you're trying to get in at the right time, historically, right now could be the cheapest time all year long that you can get into your next house. I'm Lindsey Johnson, your resource for all things real estate. See you next time.